Welcome, everybody, to the 16th episode of the Tailgate update on the Forkball podcast. So let's crack open the six-pack and start talking about sports.
That was great, Jamie. I like that. That was awesome. First of all, I'd like to say,
well, let's introduce
obviously,
our guest. Yes.
Yeah, introduce our guest here, Jamie Malloy. Thank you for joining us, sir. And Caleb, if you're watching this, we're thinking of you, buddy. All right.
Thanks for having me, guys, and I'll try not to let you down this week, Caleb. I hope you liked that intro I did. I tried my best to do your best impression of that, and you can tell me how it did when you come back. So,
all right, let's crack open our first beer, shall we?
Let's go for it.
All right, there's some injury news in the NFL. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford, UCL sprain in his throwing hand.
In his thumb, right?
Yeah, in his thumb. Yep. He's day to day. He's taking it pretty light during practice this week. Has a shot to play. He's a game time decision, according to Sean McVay. Now, by the time this airs, the game will have happened. So
we'll know how day to day he was.
So yeah, there's that injury.
Mm-hmm.
And injury number 2, Kirk Cousins done for the year. Tore his Achilles last week in the win over Green Bay. Seemed kind of freakish. Just kind of stepped wrong, I guess, when he stepped up into the pocket. I think, was that what happened, or?
I definitely didn't see it coming either. Like, it wasn't like obvious. Like, I mean, it wasn't really obvious when it happened to Aaron Rodgers either. Like, I think that's how it almost always happens. Like, the injury just happens because it's like it gets a little strained from the position of the leg. Like, it doesn't have to be anything else. So I think that's fairly common. But no, I certainly didn't see it coming.
Right. So, to our guests, I have 2 questions for you, Jamie. What should the Rams do going forward with Matthew Stafford, considering that there's a bye coming up next week?
Well, I think they should try to heal him up and patch him up and just have him rest for a little bit and hope he's ready to go, because it is a bye week. So he should be ready to go next week. But if not, you did see Brett Rippon come in last week and finish the game. And for those who don't know, if they know that name, Brett Rippon's got some bloodlines, as he is the nephew of former Washington Redskins / Commander quarterback and Super Bowl 26 winning quarterback Mark Rippon. So there's a family history there with that. And he previously was with the Denver Broncos for a little while until he came to the Rams this year to back up Matthew Stafford. So I would say the plan is to have both quarterbacks warm up and then make it a game time decision. If Stafford can go, he can go after the bye. But if not, I think you hand the keys to Brett Rippon and go to him and see what he does, and he can try to salvage the rest of the Rams season right now.
Yeah, I like that. They just added a quarterback to the practice squad as well. I can't remember his name, but yeah, they just added him to the practice squad. He might be activated shortly. Who knows? But as of right now, Brett Rippon's the only quarterback on the roster other than Stafford.
And you want a third string in this league, okay?
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah. Those damn Cowboy helmets, I'm telling you. Every time the Rams play the Cowboys now, quarterback's getting hurt because of a helmet. I'm telling you.
Oh, it must be really awful for your quarterback to have a thumb injury after interacting with, well, they are the Rams, but in a Rams game.
I know. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I know. So, yeah, there's that. But my next question for you, Jamie. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles, like we said. Now he's a free agent coming up this offseason, right?
Yes.
My memory
that.
Correct.
Yeah.
How is this gonna affect his status in free agent market, do you think?
This is kind of a hot take, I feel like, for a lot of people, especially me. But I think his days of being a a starter. I think they're numbered now. I think his time's up in Minnesota. I think now he's just gonna somebody's gonna pick him up as a stopgap to whatever quarterback that team is gonna draft in 2024. And as for Minnesota, I think they're gonna go get their own stopgap quarterback in free agency because I think they're now going to be in a position to draft a rookie in 2024. So we agree that it's stopgap to draft a rookie quarterback with Kirk Cousins. Playing days done. Stopgap just begun.
I agree. I thought he was done in Minnesota before the injury anyways. I was on here a couple of I think at the beginning of the season, talking about Kirk Cousins and his free agency status pending, heading into the upcoming offseason. And the Vikings didn't draft a quarterback last year. They didn't draft the heir apparent to Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
They did draft Jared, what's his name? Jared Hallworth or whatever his name is in the fifth round from BYU.
Okay, yeah, yep.
You know what I think they'll do? I think
Can you not show us your cat's butthole?
In case you heard all the meowing on the sideline, that was him. He likes the butt pats, okay?
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I think that the Raiders will take him. I'm just kidding.
Wait, you think the Raiders are going to take him?
I don't know. They just took another stopgap quarterback, and I don't know if they're going to be in the position to get another guy. But would it be the most surprising thing?
That's what you call Jimmy G?
Yeah.
I call him just garbage.
Well, I mean, they were hoping.
Oh, yeah, hoping. Kyle Shanahan's not on the sidelines, so.
They were hoping that he was going to be that guy for them. Am I wrong? Like, obviously,
yeah,
it worked out, but they were hoping that was the plan.
Not at the beginning of the season, you weren't wrong, Julie. He looked good in some of those games early on.
Yeah, thank you. So, like, I think they'll, but obviously that's not working out. So I think they'll take an old man who has a questionable Achilles.
Okay.
Look, I'm calling it now.
Raiders get Kirk Cousins in the offseason at a discount rate. Okay.
But first they have to see what Aiden O'Connell does first because they drafted him this year as a rookie and they're possibly looking to see if he's going to be their franchise guy. So they're going to give him a shot as Jimmy G was recently just benched and all that drama. But we're going to get to that beer later. So.
Oh yeah. That's.
Yeah, we are. And Jamie, while we're on the topic, let us know where we can find you on social media, your own podcast, like share the deets so our people know.
Absolutely, Julie. I will do that right now. So anyway, you can find me, yours truly, on Bill's Chat 1 at Bill's Mafia Chat and also at Jamie Malloy, the unbiased journalist at DJ Dog Tags, where that account has just been verified. And DefiantTakesFootball.com, which I work with you on, Julie, and on Defiant Takes Football, I write about the Buffalo Bills, Syracuse football, who's kind of in a tailspin right now after starting out 4-0, and spring football as well. So make sure to catch that. And there's some exciting news about the merger coming up, and it's going to be announced on November 13th. So stay tuned for the announcement on spring football. And I also host my own podcast on Driving to the Top Productions called the Buffalo Sports Conversation Room. Hope that you could come in and listen on Tuesday nights at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Time.
And we will have his social media and the YouTube page in our description, so you can find it there. We have a few more injuries. I don't know if you're going to mention these, but I thought that they were sort of significant. Tyrod Taylor with his rib.
Oh, yes.
I feel so awful for this guy. Because remember when he got his lung punctured because they were trying to shoot him up with the painkiller? Like
Justin Herbert became a star. Yeah, that was a good start for Justin Herbert's career right there.
Okay. Oh my God.
And somebody saw Herbert in practice, was like, this guy needs to start.
Yeah,
Why
let me stab him
starting him?
Let me stab him in the lung so he can't breathe while we give him the shot he shouldn't have anyway, so he can play through the pain.
Exactly. There's your next true crime segment.
Yeah.
Plotting in LA.
I already wrote an article about that on Defiant Takes. Okay, Massage Monster. His shoulder is still up, but he's practicing again, so we'll see. Taysom Hill is basically the quarterback of the Saints. He has a hip issue. And then close to my heart, DK Metcalf has a hip issue. Tyler Lockett has a hamstring problem and has limited participation. So it seems like DK Metcalf is going to come back this week, but Tyler
He better.
won't. So that's stressful. And Jamal Adams had another rest day. Baker Mayfield has a knee issue. Saquon Barkley has an ankle problem. Darren Waller has the hamstring. He's likely out for a couple weeks. So that's going to like totally screw the Giants because those are like their two guys almost.
Screws my freaking fantasy team.
And Joe Mixon
Me
has
too. I'm never playing Darren Waller again.
Joe Mixon has a chest issue, and he's one of the key guys for at least running backs for.
Well, he better have some chest congestion and get out there.
Yeah, and then Puka Nacua, as you know, he had the knee injury. And I know people are saying he's not as great as he was, but I think with Cooper Kupp coming back, I mean, wouldn't that kind of limit some of the ball time that he's getting anyways? But
they've actually been kind of equal, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think he probably got more before he came back, right? Like, I don't know. It just give this man a second, but he has a knee injury, so kind of it seemed. I'm not sure what he was limited practicing, so
he'll likely play this week.
Yeah. So those are just some other key people that I thought might be of interest to our fans.
Perfect. I like that, Julie. Thank you for the update. All right, so let's crush beer one onto our heads and throw it into the recycling bin.
Recycling bin? We're environmental like that.
And let's move on to beer number 2. All right, the NFL trade deadline is come and gone yet again for another year. All right, let's talk about some big trades that happened over on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Tuesday was the deadline, Jamie?
Halloween.
Really?
Yeah, Tuesday was the deadline. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Tuesday's deadline. So, the Giants traded Lawrence, DeMarcus Lawrence, or was it? The hell was his name? It's not DeMarcus Lawrence.
Leonard Williams.
Leonard Williams.
Yeah. Leonard Williams, not Lawrence. Goodness gracious. To Seattle.
Well, you're remembering one of the best Giants players to ever do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was under Wink Martindale's defense.
That's my bad.
Defense.
That's my bad. So he's gone to Seattle for picks. Do you think this is signifying a rebuild in New York, Jamie?
I do, but only for this year because everybody remembers last year Coach Brian Dable came in for my Bills as the offensive coordinator to the Giants head coach, and he had a nice culture set up with Daniel Jones and everything just fell into place that year one, and they upset Kirk Cousins' Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs. And this year, I think it was necessary. They are rebuilding, and there's one key area they have to rebuild is that offensive line, because it just doesn't seem like who the quarterback's been. I mean, they played 3. They played Daniel Jones, they played Tyrod Taylor, and they played Tommy DeVito, and all 3 of them are just running through their lives because their offensive line's like god awful. They need those, and they could use some of those picks on some rookie linemen, some tackles, and some guards next year. So yeah, I think it was a great trade, and it is signifying that 2023 is going to be rebuilding for the Giants this year. But it's only going to be temporary, as I think in 2024 they'll get back to their winning ways and they'll have a long-term plan for sustained success.
So you're considering this a rebuild rather than a retooling, then?
Yeah, I do.
Because it seems like if they're just trading for picks and they're looking towards next year as a way to get back on track, I find that more of a remodel or a reloading period rather than just a rebuild for 1 year. But that's just me. That's my head.
Sounds like semantics to me.
Does. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Because Jamie said a short-term rebuild, and you said
See,
remodel. Like
in
whatever.
my head,
It's a short-term
rebuilding.
retool for long-term
There you go. Yeah,
for
Yeah.
that's.
long-term sustainability
I like
again.
that. Yeah.
Well, I
what
want
it
to see.
is.
I want to see what the head coach does because he's awesome. I feel like, and this is embarrassing. I think for everybody involved, including New York sports in general. And so, like, hopefully, like, I think he has it in him to like revive whatever is going on. And so I look forward to seeing like kind of how he goes. And I think he has the capability of doing a lot.
And like I said, I keep singing his praises as a Bills fan when he was the offensive coordinator there under McDermott. I'm still going to do it because he's the right guy for that job.
Yeah, and it seems like he creates a really good culture and like players really identify well with him, which is like half the battle.
Yep.
Absolutely. So that trade happened, and we had a couple more trades happen on deadline day. So Montez Sweat,
Mm-hmm.
he is headed to Chicago, Caleb's Bears,
The Bears.
in exchange for some
The
picks.
Bears.
And Chase Young is being
Yeah.
sent to San Francisco to terrorize myself and Julie,
Yeah.
at least for this year.
So basically, the Washington Commanders have no defense.
So he went there for a 3rd-round pick. Jamie, what does this say about Washington being a game out of the 7th seed, and they're trading away their 2 best defensive players?
Well, for one, I think it's saying you send these 2 guys to, like, first of all, you're sending Montez Sweat to the Bears to help the Bears in their defense because you have a defensive coach in Matt Eberflus who calls the plays now on defense besides the head coach. And then for Chase Young, he's going to the 49ers where he's going to be part of that Steve Wilkes blitz heavy defense. And then you get these picks back and they're just creating salary cap space. And I think they're going to use their picks to add more key pieces or offensive linemen or maybe even some skill players or some tight ends around Sam Howell, because as you see, this league is shifting to a tight end driven league.
I agree, Jamie. I agree.
How'd you feel about that Russell Douglas trade?
Absolutely fantastic. I love that move. I think he's a great value brand of Trey White. Like he's not the main brand, but he's a nice private label brand where it's still just as he's still just as effective as Trey White. He can create turnovers like Trey White. He's a great locker room guy, great for McDermott's culture. And oddly enough, he was drafted in the same draft as Tre'Davious Wright, except Douglas was drafted in the 3rd round of 2017 by Philadelphia, and Trey White was drafted in the 1st round by the Bills, 27th overall in 2017. So if you sign him for him to help this year, and then next year when Trey White comes back, you could probably have the best 1-2 corner tandem in the league next year.
It's funny you say that he was drafted in the 3rd round because Buffalo gave Green Bay a 3rd round for him.
Yes, they did. The 3rd round pick for 2024, and they still got a late 5th rounder in return. And keep in mind, they already have 10 picks going into next year with 3 in the 6th. So now that they got 2 in the 5th and 3 in the 6th, they can still bundle those and try to get back into like the 3rd round or possibly the 2nd round. So then maybe they have like 2 higher round picks in 2024 instead of having 3 lower round picks.
So Arizona did a puzzling thing on deadline day. They sent Josh Dobbs to Minnesota.
Well, apparently Kyler Murray is supposed to his knee. He'll be playing soon, is what I'm hearing.
If he doesn't play this week, he'll play next week, they said.
Yeah, so I mean, is it weird? Yeah, but I mean, at least their main guy is going to be back.
Yeah, but you think that they keep a competent backup behind Murray just in case, right?
You sure would.
But they just sent Dobbs. They sent Dobbs to Minnesota after Cousins got hurt, which is it's sensible for Minnesota to do such a thing.
Yes.
But it doesn't make sense for Arizona to do that. Like, what are they getting out of it? Did they even get a decent draft pick?
No, they just got more reasons to draft Caleb Williams next year. That's all they got. That's their
Yeah.
draft pick.
Well, I'm pretty sure they got 100 million reasons to keep Kyler Murray before they draft Caleb Williams. So
It, it seems questionable at best, but I think as our division rivals, we are used to that kind of behavior from Arizona. So to me, I'm just chalking it up as, oh, it's Arizona being Arizona.
Arizona does some questionable shit, and they continue to
Okay.
do
But
such.
the only thing they didn't do questionable was hire Jonathan Gannon. I think he is still the right coach for that job. He's just in a tough situation right now.
I'll give him a second. He's the very beginning
Yeah.
of Nick Sirianni's coaching tree, which is hopefully gonna take off because Nick Sirianni was in my series of Italian American Heritage Month 2023, and so I'm obviously in his corner. So here's hoping that give him another shot. Nobody would succeed in that environment. Nobody.
I agree. The front office doesn't do anything right.
Trash.
They make moves to make it look like they're doing something, but it just gets blown out of proportion by the media. Like trading for Hollywood Brown, I'm not buying that. And the trade for D Hop, that was meh at best, and then they just shipped him off after a couple of years. So that front office, they just don't do anything that makes any sense. They gave Kyler Murray a big contract after doing pretty much nothing. So it just doesn't make sense to me at all.
I mean, their fans have been screaming that from the rooftops since before the season, before even the practice game started. So I think like everyone is very frustrated with them, and our hearts go out to Cardinals fans.
They've been screaming at Julie, to be fair, they've been screaming at the top of their lungs since 2004 when they had Josh McCown at quarterback.
Yeah, they're a little hoarse right now.
They did have Kurt Warner for a couple
Not
years.
Josh McCown, Luke McCown. My bad, Luke McCown.
They did have Kurt Warner, and he got him to the Super Bowl. So I mean,
yep. I do remember that.
What's that? No.
Listen, Arizona fans, Julie and I can sympathize. We know what it's like to be at the bottom of the NFC West.
Do we?
Yeah.
I don't know it that well right now.
I don't either. I'm one step below you.
Okay.
No, actually, no. I'm 2 steps below you.
You're in first place right now.
You're in first place on technicality.
Yeah, so I don't know why you're trying to throw the last spot at me like we're not on the top right now, okay? Just give me my moment.
Hey, Bills and Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Let's go. Let's make it happen, Roger Goodell.
I know some people in Buffalo, and they have been ride or die for the Bills for many a year, and they got teased here and there that they were going to make it. So I do think that they should have their shot. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I mean, Mahomes says it all. So.
Oh yeah.
All definitely. I know is I just want to be there for when the new stadium opens in 2026. I'm psyched for that.
Well, we know you will be.
Will there be a dome there?
No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be a roof. It's going to be a grass stadium though, which is good.
That's nice. Hey, grass is winning now, Julie. Grass is winning.
I'm writing an article about AstroTurf as we speak.
All right.
Do y'all know where AstroTurf came from? What it was created for?
Astros?
The Astrodome.
Well, that is a common misconception. Actually, it was first created after the Korean War when they noticed that the urban recruits were less fit than their rural recruits. And so they decided it was because there wasn't enough green space in big cities. So then the Ford Foundation, of all things, funded research to create green space that could be put in big cities. And like they're talking about even rooftops, like in apartments, like they were going for everything. So they actually funded the research to create the concept of AstroTurf so that they could add more green space. But it ended up being so expensive when they did in the beginning when they did create it that it never did actually make it to many urban spaces. But that is the fuel behind the Astro Stadium didn't even come into it until, well, it was a few years later.
1965 was the Astrodome when it was first built.
Yeah.
So
So I think the research started in, I don't remember, the late 50s. It wasn't very far apart, but it actually started with the Korean War, which I mean, that I know that was y'all's second guess.
That would have been my guess like 10 years from now, to be honest with you, because that wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness
I
gracious.
know.
I can tell you where AstroTurf really was created.
Hell.
Yeah, that's the creation of the devil right there.
Literally.
Anyways,
All right, so our third
Switching
year,
some-
right?
switching some gears here to the NBA. James Harden was traded once again.
You right. See, he's so forgettable. I even forgot him.
So, yeah, stupid beard shit. Anyways, the former MVP has been traded to the Clippers this time. So that leads me to question: is he an issue in this league now for front offices? Because I mean, he pushed his way out of Houston, did he not?
yes, he did that. And
He pushed his way out of Houston, and he sort of pushed his way out of Philly.
he pushed his way out of a lot of teams that had a chance to go to the NBA finals and didn't because he was a non-character guy. He was a distraction in the locker room. So yeah, I do think he is pushing everybody's buttons, but it's also a fresh start for him in LA with the Clippers, and hopefully he doesn't push any buttons there. And maybe his one shining moment is he wins the NBA in-season tournament, and then they go to the playoffs, and then he turns into the James Harden we all know and love.
Well, the good news about this trade is the Clippers are now the favorites to win the 2014 NBA Finals. So,
Wow.
Ironic there. So,
listen, if this team is put together back in 2014, nobody's going to touch them. I can promise you that. But that's the James Harden trade. I'm done with his face.
Mm-hmm.
Let's crush that beer against our head. Throw it in the recycling bin. Wait, can you do that after you crush a beer? Like crush a can? Can you still recycle
Yeah,
it? I don't think so. Can you? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you just can't take it back to the bottle redemption place, right?
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
guess you can't. That would make sense, but you can definitely recycle it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're gonna be green friendly, okay, and recycle it. All right, on to beer 3. Oh, the Raiders. Raiders are blowing it up once again. They fired McDaniels, they fired Ziegler, and they benched Jimmy G.
Save Devontae Adams. Somebody go and save him.
Can somebody like do a mission, like a Rambo mission, and just
Yeah.
save Devontae? Because he's being wasted.
Him
No,
and Jonathan
totally take it.
Taylor can get rescued.
I mean,
Devontae, hey, you know what? Devontae Adams doesn't care because at the end of the day, he's still going home to his multi two-pronged Taco Bell house in his commercials. He don't care, win or lose. He's going home and grubbing on some friggin' cheesy gordita crunches or some crunchy breakfast tacos because he's making that money. He don't care where he's playing.
Okay.
I'm amazed you don't miss practice more often. You know that Taco Bell.
Can somebody please put a Taco Bell like even in my apartment building? It doesn't have to be in my living room, but
I don't know if it'll fit in your living room, Julie.
it really wouldn't. But New York, anything is possible. So New York.
I guess, yeah, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, Jimmy G is the era of Jimmy G has been put on pause for the time being in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm if you want
excited
to know the
for-
truth, I think the Raiders' struggles, they actually go back to when they were in Oakland after Super Bowl 37 when they had all these firings and like the city was just a mess and like they didn't want to publicly fund the stadium, so they decided to do what everybody does now and get out of a crapshoot like Oakland and come to a booming city like Vegas where everybody's already moving to the state of Nevada. So let's go move to a city where there's already a lot to do. And when you add sports there, Vegas is even more crazy than before. And whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We all know that.
Oh, not always, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
not all the people who are going to jail there.
Yeah, I really think that teams that move to Vegas, such as the Oakland A's, who are trying to move to Vegas, I think they're really banking on the fact that they're getting tourists coming into Vegas. And when you come into a casino, oh, I'm going to schedule myself to go to a game while I'm in Vegas. Check out that atmosphere, and then I'm going to go over to the casino and blow away $15,000. Maybe I'll come out with $25,000. Who knows? I think that's what teams that go to Vegas are doing. And
It
I
seemed
really
like they did have fans at the game, right? Like it seemed like there was at least some at the last one.
Yeah, that stadium's beautiful. And then they also have musical guests perform halftime concerts like it's the Super Bowl. So you get like a Super Bowl atmosphere in the regular season every time you go to a Vegas Raiders game.
Oh yeah, the Rams just had Ice Cube and his son do a halftime show at the Steelers game a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
yeah,
I
awesome.
do love Ice Cube.
Yeah,
Like
as
Ice
opposed
Cube.
to just regular ice water.
Terrible. Okay. And I'm excited for Antonio Pierce. 7 years of coaching, 5 years at the college level, 2 in the NFL, and as a linebackers coach. And then he played in the league as well as a linebacker, 4 for Washington, 5 for the Giants. So
Oh yeah, I remember him playing for the Giants. He was decent.
yeah, which doesn't always translate to coaching. As we know, anyone in academia knows, just being good at a topic doesn't mean you can teach it. So
Some can, some can't.
yeah, so we'll just have to see. But I'm excited by some fresh blood, and frankly, McDaniels is so infuriating as a by proxy Broncos fan because of Russell Wilson. I appreciate that. I hate McDaniels for that reason, and so I appreciate some new blood over there, and this will be a good shot for Antonio Pierce. Only the 3rd season in the NFL, and he's a head coach. So, whew.
Do you think I want to ask a question about McDaniels to you, Julie? Do you think when he was in New England? Now, obviously, you're probably going to know the answer to this because it's the whole Belichick Brady thing. Do you think that success was really McDaniels, or do you think he was another guy who rode the coattails of being Brady's offensive coordinator?
Yeah, the second one. Because as we know, Bill Belichick's coaching tree is garbage and doesn't translate over to anyone. And,
right. Historically it hasn't, but it's gotten better recently. But historically, it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, Belichick came from the Parcells coaching tree, so.
I have a little beef with him after the whole Joe Montana thing.
Who?
Oh, was that the other Bill? There's so
It's
many.
Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh you're talking about?
Yeah, there's so many freaking Bills at that point.
The inventor of the West Coast offense, the original.
Yeah.
Bill Walsh is the reason why Kyle Shanahan's a coach.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Without that offense, he would be nothing.
Okay, he was a lot.
Anyways,
Okay, but they played Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells was also in the Joe Montana story. So either way.
any the reason why Joe Montana was out of San Francisco? Like, he was the coach of the Giants when he was leveled in that playoff game?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, look, there is so many old white men named Bill. It's a lot.
William.
So anyway, Belichick.
Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, Bill Maher, Bill
Murray.
Bill Murray, yep. Bill
Billy
Burr.
Crystal.
I mean, basically every
Billy
coach
Joel.
and every quarterback was Joe, Bill, or Mark, Matt, something.
Billy Joel Holbert.
Billy
That was from
Joel.
the 90s.
Bobby.
Exactly. So look, I don't know about Bill Parcells' coaching tree.
Bill
super.
Belichick.
Is that it? Okay, I was like, maybe there's more, but he is a lot of things, and I have the most respect for Belichick. But his tree is trash, and McDonald's is even a bad apple on that tree. It's so bad.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. For me, Belichick is kind of, I don't know. He just kind of irritates me because he's so smug, and like we know he's been caught for cheating, and he doesn't even care.
No, well,
He has no fucks given.
nobody said he wasn't a sociopath, but he can still be a good coach.
I enjoy the episode of Family Guy when their mission is to make him laugh, and he's like so serious. Like his character, they made him so serious.
He is a Swiftie, so that is kind of a cute fun fact about him.
No, I lost more
that
respect.
came out before she ever started dating the other guy. So like Kelsey, so like it's still a cute fun fact because it did come out first. And I'm just imagining him like with his granddaughters, if he has any, like jamming out to Taylor Swift, and it makes me smile. So yeah,
if you insist, Julie.
McDaniels is poison, and we will actually be talking about him in true crime. Okay, so
I'm learning more things today.
Yeah, let's go to number 4.
All right, we can go to number 4. Crush number 3 and throw it in the recycling bin.
I'm done crashing. I don't need a concussion.
Say crush it, not crash it.
Same thing. Crash. Look, when you have this solar panel, it is a crash.
Solar panel?
I've gotten all the nicknames. That one's kind of funny to me.
I've never heard that before. Okay, I'm gonna have to use that. I'm stealing that. You better trademark it before I steal it.
On it.
All right, beer number 4. The unfortunate passing of Adam, I think his name is Adam Johnson.
Yes.
Former NHL player, played for the Penguins.
Yeah. Our hearts are with his family.
Yeah.
He died after a karate kick with a skate on ice.
We'll be discussing the murder trial in the making, possibly, and the true crime segment.
Now that cut his jugular?
His carotid.
Carotid, okay. That has led to the Penguins advocating for neck protection. They will mandate neck protection for their AHL and ECHL teams, which is their minor league affiliates. The EIHA are making neck guards / protectors mandatory in the 2024 season. Now, here's my question for you both. Why make it mandatory next season instead of this season? Unless they decided that they're going to cancel the season mid-season.
Well, I actually have kind of some. I follow Dr. Sutter on YouTube, the sports medicine doctor, and he had some really interesting takes on this. For one, neck guards are required in some leagues already. They've been required in Sweden since 1995.
Makes sense.
So we know that works for them, but there is a possibility of an issue. Well, there was a player who came from Sweden, and he's in the NHL, and he said that adaptation was not hard for him to implement the neck guard, but when he tried to use it again after a couple years in the NHL, he found it really hard to wear. So that I thought that was really interesting, and there's been some research on this, and it's showing that there's like because of having the impediment on the neck, it can slow down a person's ability to move their neck, and there's a concern because research has shown that it is a slightly significant amount, not just a little bit, which may make players who are adjusting more likely to get hit, in the sense that they won't be able to see a hit coming, and that could cause further injuries. So Dr. Sutter's point, I think, was really interesting. He said that they should start with all of the lower leagues, and especially kids, and then once they get to the NHL, then they'll have grown up with it, but that the implementation, like right now, might be an issue because players haven't played with it, that it may set them up for more injury. So I thought that was a really interesting take. And well, considering it took them 11 years to instate the hockey helmet after a player died from a incident that a helmet probably would have saved their lives, it wouldn't surprise me if this wouldn't be an immediate adaptation for them. And I can see the merits of having it go through the younger and then like making it an option for people in the NHL, because it would be really awful if people got more injured, because this happens so irregularly. If they got like more concussions, for example, because they couldn't see a hit coming, versus like the potential of getting karate chopped in the neck. So I think that was a really interesting take with some actual research behind it. But I know with Sweden, I don't know how it worked in 1995 after they implemented it, because I believe they did that mid-season after the player died. But I think it clearly worked for Swedish kids. So we're seeing that is a good method, because this player said it was super easy for him to use it, but that, going back to it was hard. So that would be my thoughts as to why the transition might be slow and potential barriers to using one.
Okay. That's a lot of information to process. So the WHL, Western Hockey League, they're gonna actually make it mandatory immediately. TJ Oshie, I think he still plays for the Capitals. He actually wore a neck protector a couple nights ago. So he was one of the first ones to do it in the NHL. There's been a lot of cases where somebody's been caught on the neck and throat area by a skate, and I think dating back to like the set, I'm sure it's happened a lot of times.
I have all of the deaths related. We're going to talk about that in the true crime segment.
Goodness gracious. How many are
What
there?
do I think about this? I think it's such a rare injury. Well, first of all, our hearts are with the family during this time, and we hope that the families are recovering, and we're thinking about them during this time. But yeah, it's such a rare injury. In fact, it happened to a Sabres goalie back in the day, where he got cut in the neck and he died immediately on the ice. But as for the neck protectors, I think the NHL should make it, or any league should make it, the player's choice if they want to wear one or not. And as long as they go with that, and they don't try to over protect hockey like they do with the NFL. Like the NFL, they seem to mandate everything a lot, and they don't give players more choices. But I feel like the NHL is more, it's up to the players rather than mandating.
Well, I certainly don't agree with Jamie on being overly safe, because I'm a sports epidemiologist, and it's a goddamn nightmare out there. And like people are dying like flies, which we'll be talking about in the true crime segment. So I don't think that the NFL is being overly cautious ever, and we could put them from neck to ankle full body padding, and I still wouldn't be happy. But
Hold on, time out, Julie. Time out. So you're saying if they mandated wearing bubble suits and playing football that way, you wouldn't feel safe?
I mean, it wouldn't stop a concussion.
Because I mean, look at what they do at practice now. They wear those little visor hats
those
above
like
the helmet.
skull caps.
The skull caps. Yeah,
They've actually been working, I guess.
Your skull is only so big, and it's never going to grow. And a concussion is from this brain hitting the skull. So anytime any kind of impact comes through, it will always happen. So it doesn't matter if you wrap them up in like bubble wrap. If there's enough impact, it's still going to rock around in there. It doesn't matter what's on the outside.
No, I said bubble suits, not bubble wrap.
Okay, but I mean, what?
And then they play bubble
hit the ground
ball.
with bubble wrap.
Yeah, and they have bubble ball and no.
Okay.
Flag football better for you?
That was a
But
high school game. It was called Bubble Ball.
I don't mind them implementing it in another league and seeing if this is an issue and if it does cause issues with reactionary time and all that, and then going from there. I don't mind that idea. They should be taking notes from Sweden and how their implementation went, but that would be far too intelligent for them. So I won't hold
Okay,
them
Julie.
accountable to not figuring it out, that they've already had an entire country do it.
Okay, let's not berate people for not being
being able
smart.
to do simple research. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Well, talk about simple research. We talk about NFL and their grass versus turf debate. All the facts are right there for grass.
What I say, the NFL shouldn't get a say on it after they had actual turf for 30 years. That's my hot take. That's all I have to say about it.
So, what the MLB does when they want to make a new rule change, they do it in the independent leagues and the minor leagues first, like the lower levels, and then work it through up all the way.
Makes sense.
And then if they like it, because they were working the pitch clock in the minor leagues for a couple of years, and then decided, oh, it works, we'll use it in the MLB now. So I don't see why the NHL wouldn't do that in the Eastern Hockey League and AHL and stuff like that. Why not do it there and then see what happens?
The NFL is actually going to probably start doing that with the spring ball now, because you got spring league and they've been looking at adapting like the 4th and 15 from the 25-yard line, as opposed to the onside kicker, the 4th and 12 from the 33, or the 4th and 15 from the 25. So yeah, the NFL is starting to look at stuff from the spring football. Like they want to adapt the XFL kickoff rules, which are really cool, they're safe and you see many returns from them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, imagine it. A league that can learn from others. Am I hating on the NHL? Hell yeah, I am, because they still haven't admitted that concussions are a problem and related to the game of hockey. And that feels so elementary that if we haven't gotten there, I don't have a lot of respect for them in general.
Didn't Sidney Crosby miss like almost 2 seasons because of a concussion? 1 concussion?
I don't know.
Oh, I figured you knew.
No, I think I did hear about him, but I mean, I've heard so many other about, I had this concussion and it lasts for months and years and whatever. They have CTE over there too. They have all the same signs as the NFL has, but they want to put their head in their asses and pretend like it's not an actual thing. And so I'm like, look, while you're delusional, I don't have a lot of time for you.
Okay, well, having said that, Julie, let's move on to beer 5. How about that? Sound good? Okay. Beer number 5, Cracker Open. The Texas Rangers end their drought after what, 62 years? 52 years?
I thought from my research, it said it's their first World Series ever since they were established in 1961.
Yeah, 62 years since they've been in the league.
Okay. Well, I mean, is that really ending the drought, or because there never was one?
Well, technically there is one. If you haven't won a championship since your existence, that's a drought, right?
Yeah, I guess that's a really optimistic take. But I'm happy that they got their first win.
Yeah. Anyway, they dispatched the Arizona Diamondbacks in 5 games to win their first World Series championship in 62 years since they were a new team in the MLB. Yeah. So they did that. And Corey Seager was named World Series MVP for the 2nd time in his career, joining Reggie Jackson as, I believe, the only position player to win 2 World Series MVPs on 2 different teams, or just in general. I don't remember. But yeah, he joined Reggie Jackson for something like that. So good for Corey Seager.
I think that series was over before it even started. Like after the Rangers eliminated the Astros and basically ended one party rule in baseball, with the Astros dominating and retiring Dusty Baker for good. I was like, yep, the Rangers are gonna cruise and win this series, and they did over the D-backs, and the D-backs did beat Philly, who went to the World Series last year, but that wasn't really as exciting because I'm more of an AL guy. But yeah.
Yeah, fun fact for you: no team has actually gone back-to-back years. The losing team from the World Series has not gone back-to-back years to the World Series since I think the Rangers in 2010, 2011,
Oh,
and it
awesome.
continues again. Yeah,
You know what's more
And it comes full
interesting than that?
circle in 2023.
We are surrounded. Look at this. We got one here. We got, yeah, one here. And then we got one all the way over there on the here.
hey, Jules, are you just here so you don't get fined, or did you just erase that? You erased that, didn't you?
What?
Your sign, did you erase it? No, it's still there. Okay.
No, yeah. It's still here.
Okay. I was a little upset if you would have erased that because
You got to get
I
a
can't
Devin
erase it.
Witherspoon
It's
sign.
painted on there.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was a chalkboard.
It's a canvas.
Oh, look at that. Look at you go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Julie-
I actually had a friend make it. And so we talked over a design. It was supposed to be like a take on she also made another one for what was the Rams thing?
F them picks.
No, the no show on turf, no.
Greatest show on turf.
Greatest show
Yeah,
on
the
turf.
greatest show on turf. So this is another
Legion of Boom.
yeah, this is like a Seahawks version of that one. I also had her make the greatest show on turf because my great uncle is a Rams fan. So
Good taste.
so
Now
she
you need
makes
to
the
sign
great-
on my boy Devin Witherspoon. I love that kid.
I
So-
love it too.
Still talking about baseball here, though.
No
A tiff has risen between Rob Manfred and the LB Players Union rep Tony Clark over the playoff format. Julie, do you want to enlighten us on the playoff format?
Well, Jamie had a totally different thing than what I heard, but when I looked it up, predominantly it was the argument that the wild card teams have an advantage because they have no bye week or bye games, even though, as Ryan let us know, it's only 2 days. And there's a rest versus rust debate. However, Jamie has some more facts about apparently other things that they're debating about in the playoffs.
Yes, I do, Julie, and I think they're debating on does it create more parity in the league because, like I said, with the Nationals in 2019, they were the last wild card team to get in, and they made it all the way, and they upset the Houston Astros dynasty for at least a year in 2019, and won the whole thing as the last wild card team. And I also think the NCAA playoff committee, the 12-team playoff, is modeled off of that baseball format where the more teams you get, some of the teams that are 5 through 12 that have a shot at maybe beating an Alabama or saying like Notre Dame getting in every year. That's possible when you add more teams.
Mm,
It's a good point, Jamie. Good point.
yeah, so
And
that's
as for the TIF, I'm not really surprised because it just seems like Manfred and Tony Clark are fighting over who should be the commissioner at this point.
Well, Tony Clark couldn't be a downgrade over Manfred. That's
Really?
a joke.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've paid attention to some of mine and Caleb's rants about Rob Manfred, but
nobody has been.
that guy's a joke. And shut your cake hole.
I mean,
The
honestly,
only good thing he did was put the pitch clock in, right? But that's the only really thing we give him credit for.
I mean, that was a decent implementation of rule. I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me, and it's not terrible.
But I mean, don't you like faster played baseball games though?
Sometimes I can deal with a game going 3 hours and 30 minutes. I can deal with that because I love baseball. You know, not everybody's gonna be like that, which is just fine. I mean, if you don't prefer sitting at a baseball game for 3 hours, that's cool. But don't complain when you're sitting at an NFL game and it goes for 4 hours.
yeah, but football actually doesn't suck, so that's the difference.
True.
Yeah. So like those hours invested are two very different things.
And the game's more fast paced to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there can be. Yeah, I mean, Football, sometimes you have a slow play clock.
Like you're gonna lose this battle because
I'm not trying to battle. I'm just saying.
and nobody actually cares. So can we move on to number 6?
Yes, let's crush this beer, and put in the recycling bin. Open up a new one.
All right.
Beer 6. Don't image my words, okay? It's against my rights. Beer 6. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy are starting a TGL Golf League, which is virtual golf. It's set to begin in January of 2024. Are you in or out on this idea?
I'm in.
You in?
I'm in. I think Tiger has already paid his dues and worked his way up to the top, and now he loves the game, so he wants to invest in an indoor virtual game where he can play on a virtual course and win as many tournaments like it's the real thing. And as nowadays with technology and AI and everything, you could make virtual stuff look 100% real. So I think this tournament could pass. And plus, you got Rory in it, and you got some big investors in it too. Like you got Fanatic CEO, you got my man Michael Rubin, you got soccer player Alex Morgan investing in it. You got Steph Curry, Josh Allen's investing in a Shaq. Diana Taurasi's investing in it. You got the A-list celebrities, sports celebrities investing in it.
Right, yeah. So from what I'm reading, it's going to be a 15-match regular season. We'll set the stage for postseason, where a best-of-3 championship awaits the top 2 teams. Ahead of each 3-on-3 match, the 2 teams of 4 will announce which of their players are participating. All players will be mic'd up, which is awesome. I love that idea. It's going to be 15 holes per match, 3 of 4 golfers from each team play, 9 holes of triples, alternate shot, 3-on-3, 6 holes of singles head-to-head, 1-on-1 for 2 holes each, and 1 point per hole, 0 points if hole tied. Overtime closest to pin until one team hits 2 shots closer than the other. A team will earn 2 points for a victory in either regulation or overtime. I love point systems. I love that. An overtime loss will earn a team 1 point, while a regulation defeat will see the squad come away with 0 points, which is
like
much
hockey.
The
overtime
hockey
method's like hockey, 2-1-0.
Yep. 4 of 6 teams qualify for the playoffs, single elimination semifinals. 2 teams left standing play best-of-3 championship series. I like it.
Yeah. I'm not real technology savvy or anything, but like the kids nowadays, apparently they do a lot of esports or something like that. So this seems like kind of like a continuation. And I did watch Gran Turismo, in the theaters, and they had like some kind of league thing for racing or whatever. So like, and that seemed pretty cool and constructive. So yeah, why not make it for golf? And yeah, I think they're just getting with the times, unlike me. And
they have an off season too, so I mean, rather than training on their own, why not make it a fun thing and get plays together and
Jamie pointed out it gives an opportunity for people who can't golf anymore on the green but have a lot of talent. So that's actually like a pretty endearing thought if you think about it. So I love that.
Yeah. And also there is a putting surface that's as big as a football field, I guess. And you can once you get on the green, so I understand at a normal golf simulator, once you get on the green, however many feet away from the hole you are, that's how many putts you have. So like if you're like within 10 feet, you have 1 putt and you don't have to do anything. With this league, from what I read, if you get onto the green, you automatically go over to the putting surface and you putt.
Oh.
And it's like an LED type thing.
As y'all know, I was a varsity golf player in high school as a senior, mostly because we only had 7 people on the team and one girl kept hurting her ankle. But what I really
was that one girl you, Julie?
No. What I remember the most, because I was on varsity, not junior varsity. Come on, keep it together. So anyway, what I remember the most about it is that it sucked in the sense that it's Washington and it's cold, it's rainy. I'm walking for literal miles, and I'm like splattered from mud from head to toe, literally like all over my face, like war paint, and like all up and down. Like you get covered in mud. It's cold. Like you have to carry that big old golf bag with you. Like this sounds a lot more appealing just from somebody who's been on the green. Like I would much rather be in a building.
I'd rather be hitting at a golf screen on those days too, rather than being out there being covered in mud. Yeah.
Okay, with the rain and it's miles when you're carrying this bag, and it's Washington, so there's like hills and mountains and God knows what. Like, look, I had to walk 10 miles in the snow to go to school every day, and I'm just saying that, like, if you can do it at home, that sounds more fun, okay?
You had to walk 10 miles in the snow.
Yeah, like all the boomer parents, isn't that a thing?
Oh yeah, I had to walk
Yeah.
up ways in the snow and barefoot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, I know some people love their golf. They probably don't live in Washington and have to play it during what was it? It was supposed to be. I think I'm trying to remember. They were trying to not play it in the rainy season, but it was always raining, so it didn't help. It was cold. It was rainy. There's no fixing that unless you can do it like in the middle of the summer, and even then, it probably will still be cold and rainy. So, yeah, they're with it. They are with it, and this is the new generation. And if my nephew grew up to be a online league golf player, that would be wonderful. I would be so happy if he did that. So yeah, thumbs up. With all the stuff kids can get into, this seems like a great way to channel some of that energy too.
What you're not thinking this is like esports, are you, Julie?
No, I realize that it's like an actual league, but you can like practice for it, right? Like I know there's not gonna be like 13. Well, I don't know how young and stuff, but like, people will probably start like practicing to be in this league and stuff. Like,
Look, there's golf simulators around. Like in my area, there's at least 2 of them up in my neck of the woods.
yeah,
My cousin actually owns one.
look at somebody's got to play in this league, and it's probably going to be young people who like prep for it eventually, and that's an exciting prospect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I don't assume that my nephew at 14 years old is going to be out there like hitting the tees with me.
I was just wondering if you thought it was like playing PGA Tour.
No, I understand, but
okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, that's it for our 6-pack today. Crush it out and recycle that one too.
Yeah, just recycle the whole thing.
Cycle the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment if you have something to say, which you should, because we have covered lots of great stuff. And make sure to see Jamie where he writes at Defiant Takes, his show on Driving to the Top Productions, his podcast on the Bills every Tuesday at 8, and also catch him on the Twitters or X or whatever, and we will have all of his information again in the description, so you can make sure to see him everywhere.
Thank you guys for having me on again. I appreciate it, Julie, and thanks for that compliment. That was nice of you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. As y'all know, we were on Jamie's show, and we were very grateful that he decided to invite us then and to take up our offer on coming. So
I got to give back what like you guys did. What I started, I give back. So
you owed us a favor.
Yeah, well, you gave us a favor in spades. It was, yeah, there we go. So
hey, Caleb was off this week. We needed somebody, and he owed us a favor.
Okay,
awesome.
Ryan.
It's a joke, Julie. Jamie, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
No problem.
You've been a great addition to the show.
Thanks.
Awesome, dude. You're awesome. Hey, before we leave, Jamie, can you do some trivia for me?
Yeah, I can. Go ahead.
I know your football knowledge is awesome, and like I've never seen anything like it. Who's the NFL MVP in 1992?
Was it Mark Rippon?
I'm gonna trust your opinion.
Let me see.
I'm gonna look it up. NFL MVP.
Oh, no, he was Super Bowl 26 MVP. It may have been Jim Kelly. We'll see. Super Bowl 26 MVP was Mark Rippon, I think.
So the NFL MVP in 1992 was
He was
Steve
Mormon.
Young.
That's your tip. He was Mormon.
He was Mormon.
Okay, he was more
BYU.
BYU.
Well, his last name is the name of one of the most
Forever young. He took over for Joe Montana.
Steve Young. Steve Young.
I stumped Jamie. I can't believe I did that.
Steve Young.
There you go. Okay.
Well, because Steve Young is a lot, so
Yeah, Steve Young is incredible.
he's a lot.
All right. That's it for our tailgate update for episode 16. Be sure to be on the lookout for true crime in the coming days.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, guys.
You know what I think I'll do? I think
Can you not show us your cat's butthole?